Ready?
And it's Sara Gaddy.
Yes, like daddy, but with a G.
Okay,
Ooh,
perfect.
I like it.
Daddy. All right, ladies. Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Humanhood series, brought to you by your host, Casey Riley, and
Melanie Peralta.
Humanhood is a conversation devoted to humanizing your human experience and making personal development more personal. And today we are back with another iconic guest for you. This episode is really for anyone who is currently in your wellness era. Maybe you are wanting to step into your wellness era, or you just want to sit in on a really inspiring conversation. Today we are sitting down with one of the co-founders of Desert Movement. Desert Movement is a local Pilates, barre, and reformer studio here in Central Phoenix. And what I love about Desert Movement is that it's really redefining the fitness studio and just movement in general. What I've noticed is that you guys bring in a lot of mind, body, and spirit into your methods. And so help us welcome Sara Gaddy to Humanhood.
Hey!
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous, but I'm so excited to be here.
We are so happy to have you here. So as we jump in, Sara, can you just formally introduce yourself and formally introduce Desert Movement, of course?
Yes. Oh my gosh. What a setup. I am Sara Gaddy. I'm one of the co-founders of Desert Movement, and Desert Movement is a local women-owned fitness space. We specialize in a blend of movement and mindfulness, and that breaks down to a blend of mixed modalities. So we've got mat Pilates, we have barre, we have strength training, and then we just introduced last October reformer Pilates. So we have reformer, we have tower, we will soon have chair, all the things. It's so much fun.
So we took a reformer class with you
We
recently,
did.
and that shit was so hard.
It was. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I've seen those crazy Pilates machines. They look like torture chambers,
do.
to be
They do.
honest. Looks like
Yeah.
some crazy BDSM.
It truly does. There's like a comedian who has like a bit about like BDSM with Pilates and stuff like that. And I'm like,
I mean,
Perfect.
to each
That's
his own.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to expect. And I always hear that Pilates is very hard, even like with very subtle movements. And oh my God, it's so true. I'm like, I do strength training and I think like, I fucking lift like a lot of weights. I'm good, you know? But then you get in there and you're like, okay, this is
Shaking.
humbling.
Yes, it is humbling, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would love to just kind of explain to you why we wanted to sit down with you. Okay, we choose our
I'm
guests.
just going to blush the whole time.
Please do. And really, honestly, just like take it in, Sara,
Okay.
because you're such a special woman. Like, really.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
Sarah and her co-founder, Alex, used to be my Pure Barre instructors.
Okay.
And something about me is I sit back and I observe. I watch how people move. I watch how they operate and just really how they show up in life. And I noticed a lot of really remarkable qualities about you.
Thank you.
Truly, you weren't just an employee and an instructor there. I felt like when I saw you there, it was like it was your studio. And I say that without like any arrogance or ego attached to it. You just showed up in a place of deep care, intention, and just like you gave a fuck.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like with the classes that you ran, with the playlist that you selected, with how you managed the studio, and even how you showed up on social media. It was like Sara sprinkled all over it. And you're someone I would look at and think like she should open her own studio because she pretty much is running this place, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you opened Desert Movement, I was not surprised. I was like, go girl, you do this. And so I started following Desert Movement on Instagram. And what I loved is how you brought us along for the journey of building out the space. Like we were helping you pick tiles and colors, and I was like voting on all the polls.
Yes.
And I just remember during that process, genuinely being so happy for you.
Thank you.
I was like, she's doing it. She's doing it. Like, look at her. She's young. This is courageous. It was during COVID.
Yeah.
Like, what is she thinking?
Which is
type thing?
crazy, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
who's opening a studio in the middle of COVID? You know, it just felt like really uncertain times. And I was just like rooting, secretly admiring from afar.
Thank you.
Truly.
Thank you.
And then you opened up the space, I think in April 2022.
October 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you're coming up on an anniversary.
Yes.
Yes. So I went and I took a class with
Yes.
you, and then I started renting your space for my breathwork sessions. And then we even partnered and held a session for your members.
Yes.
And so that's kind of been like my involvement with you over the past 5 years. And as I mentioned, I have just been observing and noticing these qualities about you. And I just like, I'm so excited to dive into more on how this was created and all of the like lessons learned along the way, and to really dive into the conversation of just like, I know Mel like feels really confident about talking about like the Pilates girl movement going on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what our listeners can expect as we dive into this conversation. But to kick us off, I would first just love to know, okay, you and Alex had this idea. You're working at Pure Barre. Someone at some point said we should open up a studio.
Yes. Okay, so I have backtrack a little bit. I have always romanticized, I've been a dancer my whole life, owning a dance studio and like living in the loft above it, just like so amazing. Not relatable at all. Like, that's crazy. Then you're in your office every day. That's wild. But I always knew that I wanted to own my own business, whether that was dance or fitness. But then in college, I found Pilates and barre and was like, this is it. I love kids, but I don't really want to work with kids. I don't want to like have to make up children's dances or do things like that. I want to work with, you know, people my age, older and younger, and I want to be able to help them have a healthy and sustainable life through fitness. And so taught at the franchise location for a very long time, learned so much working there from like a franchise standpoint. And then in about 2017 or 2018, I met Alex and we just clicked right away. Like, she is so personable. She's so fun. She's so energetic. She teaches an amazing class and her playlists are amazing. And I just kind of put it in her ear and I said, hey, if you'd ever like to collaborate on something like outside of this, like I would be so down to do that with you. And it just was a slow build. And then when COVID happened, we had a lot more free time on our hands. And I don't want to say that we were sitting down doing business meetings, but we were just dreaming about like what the space could be like, what we would want to offer and things like that. And so things started to naturally fall into place. And then when it got to a point where I was like, okay, well, she quit and she had her other full-time job. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, let's do this. Like, we have an opportunity, let's seize that opportunity and let's take advantage of that. So then I left and then we dove in head first. And within like 6 or 7 months, we opened the studio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a lot of dreaming and it just kind of naturally, organically happened. And I feel like that's also been the case with Desert Movement. Yes, there's so much effort and like planning that goes into it, but so much of it just like organically happens just because you're having the right conversations with the right people and just collaborating and things like that.
Ooh, can we dive into that really quick?
Yeah.
Because the dreamers, I'm one as well,
Yes.
you know, I am, we are. And so obviously the dreamers, we have the vision, we know what we want to do and how we want to do it. But then there's like the practical side of being a dreamer, you know, and then there's like finding the space
Yeah.
and then there's like finding the money,
Yeah.
the resources. What did that look like for you in the middle of COVID?
Yes. Okay. So I am an Aries. I'm the oldest daughter of 3. I'm very like action oriented and I love to have a plan. And Alex is like sunshines and rainbows and she's very grounded in the same time.
Oh,
but
that's
like
so funny.
I'm used
yes,
to it.
yes. There's a yin and yang to it. And like we are very much like yin and yang with each other. She keeps me fun and energetic and like not so serious. And I also help root her and have her have a plan and have an action to get things done. So we together make up like a really good balance with one another. And so I'm very much okay. Like, we have this idea. How can we bring it into a business? How can we bring it into Phoenix? Like, what does that look like numbers wise? How many people can we fit in here? You know, what do we want to do? So just breaking that down, I was able to like dive into that. And then she was able to step in and say, well, what if you think about it this way? So it's just a really good like conversation and just great kind of like mood board type thing to create a business.
Yeah.
With personalities like that.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Did you guys have a hard time finding a space?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing. I obviously wanted it to be in Phoenix. I didn't want to branch out of like our bubble. And parking was one of the biggest things. And I've worked at studios, gone to studios where parking is a nightmare and you're just having to fight for your life to find a parking spot. You're paying for parking and things like that. So having a parking lot that had enough space to accommodate all of the clients that we want to bring into the studio, that was first and foremost. And then having it close to like Whole Foods, close to like juice places, like typically where like our clientele would go. But also I wanted it to come from like centrally located from downtown Phoenix to like Arcadia and Paradise Valley, because I wanted to be able to pull from as many different areas and demographics as possible, because our intention in creating Desert Movement is we wanted everybody to be in the space and everybody to feel welcome, and not the stereotypical, no shade to anybody, but stereotypical like Pilates studio. So I wanted it to be a very organic, like inclusive place.
I love that you mentioned that, because whenever I've been in Desert Movement, it hasn't been the typical Pilates body type of girl. It's been everyone. I've seen men there, women there, petite little things, people who are just starting their journey. And so I really love that you've emphasized inclusion, because it is felt, especially when you do a lot of your communal events, like your mini movement markets. Like this isn't just a fitness studio, guys. Like this is a whole community. So why was community, like adding those elements, so important to you? Like your mini markets that you bring in local vendors, like there's so much to it.
There's so much to it. And I think that, again, grateful for where I came from, but I'm also grateful to have learned and experienced what I don't necessarily want to be in.
Yes.
And, there's definitely positives from specific environments, but I also learned, like, I want people to come in and someone to say hello to them. Like they're walking into your house. It is the craziest thing in the world when you walk in and nobody says hi to you.
I literally just filmed a video on that. I said, why we've gotten so casual and sloppy these days. Where's the professionalism? Seriously, when I walk in somewhere, you better raise your hand and say, or not raise your hand, but raise your head and like say hello or say bye. Thank you for coming. Yeah. It's the little things that have been lost.
Yes, I know. And I think there is like a little bit of a balance between like casual and professional, because I don't want to come off like I'm a robot and like this, I'm just greeting every single person the same way. It's like, no, I'm going to have a genuine connection with you, because I want you to feel welcome in the space and I want you to have a good experience in the space. So just, again, fine tuning what we wanted to bring into our business and what we wanted to leave outside of our business. So
was there any part of the actual movement experience that you were doing at these different fitness studios where you're like, this is just not, we can do this differently in terms of our workouts?
I just think I wanted to have, and Alex can speak to this as well, we wanted to have a well-rounded offering. And thankfully we're not in a franchise position where we're having somebody higher up telling us exactly what we can and cannot do inside of our space, even down to like branding or just movement or even playlists. I think that we wanted to be able to have a widespread of offerings for our classes, and that's kind of like a moving target. It always changes and we're always fine-tuning and polishing specific formats, and just having that openness where we're not put into a little box is really important.
That's what I've noticed with franchise. And that's what I noticed with you when you were like in there trying to do these unique things, and it was like
trying to be creative.
Yeah, I'm just trying to post something different, and you like, like there were rules around it, not even from the manager or not even from the owner, but from like way higher
Totally.
ups.
And there's a time and space for that. I think that if that's what you want to be a part of and that's how you want to move your body, then that's great. I think that's why Phoenix is such a great spot, because there's so many different formats. There's so many studios and offerings that you can do. So beep boop around and just see what you like and see what aligns with you. I think that that's so important.
I would love for you to touch on, and Mel just brought it up, what did it look like, not only finding the space, but more of the financial piece? Like where you guys were throwing our savings in, did you get funding? Was it like, oh my gosh, this number is way bigger than I thought it was going to be? Like, how did that look?
It's always twice as expensive as you think.
Totally.
There's always unforeseen costs that happen. And, we're grateful to have investors invest in the business.
Beautiful.
And then when we expanded last year, that was solely on me. Wow. So a little scary. A little scary, but I think you have to take risk. Obviously, do your homework and make sure you're investing with the right companies and getting the right rates and things like that. That is actually achievable for what you can do for your business. But yeah, very grateful to have opportunities to get investments and things like that for loans.
Brick and mortars are a different ball game, dude. Like, I really, really give it up to people who commit to a space. Like, even Desi with this space, the sponsor here at I Do, committing to a space that's going to need upkeep, that's going to need plumbing, that's going to need all of those different things. Like, that's a really, really big risk. So kudos to you for that. But I want to also just circle back really quick to what you said about just the way that you did things differently. And a big part of why you wanted to open up your own space is because you didn't want to have to play within the box
Yes.
that you were in. And I just want to speak to that for people who are listening. Like, this is how we evolve industries. You know, it takes people like Sarah and Alex to say, you know what, there is a different way to do this. There is a more fulfilling for them way to do this that we feel like people are going to love. And they took a chance and they bet on themselves to bring it to life. And now there's a Pilates studio out there it's not even just a Pilates studio. Like, what would you actually call it?
I would say it's just a movement space.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to say it's a community space because there's movement. There's, people come in, come out. They take what they need essentially from the space. So if they want to come in and just move their body, or if they want to come and find connections with people, I love like after class when people who just met or maybe met the last couple of weeks are just chit-chatting after class and they're getting coffee. And like one of our clients got a job from somebody else in the studio. And so like there's just so much like things that are happening that's so much more than movement, which is very rewarding. And it's so cool to see that.
Yeah. With you saying that, okay, so my mind was like, it's a Pilates studio, right? But you're like, no, it's a movement space. It's so much more than that. Let's dive into that conversation a bit more, because right now, Pilates is trendy. Yeah. It's so trendy. It's so popular. And because it is trendy, it's becoming an identity for people. And there's this idea attached to it. There's even somewhat of a stigma attached to it. If you're a Pilates girly, then you're a certain mom. Yeah, or you're a certain type of way, or you look a certain type of way. And from what I've heard, because I honestly, that was my first like actual Pilates
and she crushed
class.
It. She crushed it.
Thanks. So I've heard it can get clicky. I've heard it can, there's a certain type of person that usually feels attracted to this space, but I feel like that really takes away from the movement. After doing it myself, I'm like, wow, this really challenged my body in a way that I was like, this would serve me if I committed to it regularly. But I notice that there's this thing inside my spirit that subtly creates an aversion to anything that's too trendy.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
agree.
straight up.
I want to revert against it. I want to go the opposite.
Yeah. But I'm like, but those abs are solid, and that's also what I want. So you know what I mean? But having the conversation around the movement in general. Yeah. And getting away from the trendiness of the title of Pilates girl and all of that, because ultimately it is serving our body in a beautiful way. Will you speak to that?
Yes.
A little bit?
Of course. Okay, so I will give a man a prop. The props every once in a while. Pilates was created by a man in like the early 1900s, late 1800s, and he created it to help people who were at war who were injured. And so he was working in beds. He connected all of these springs to the beds, which created essentially like the trapeze. So like all of those springs are at the back of the machine, and even the springs that were underneath the machines that we worked with last week.
So this is an old design.
This is old.
Wow.
Yeah, this is old.
And I didn't know that.
Yes. And so I recently went through a comprehensive training program where I did a 500-hour certification process and dove into like the history behind Pilates and like the reasoning why Pilates is so great for everybody. And it's a little crunchy to see how trendy it is. It's great because then more people are trying it who normally wouldn't try it. But it is a little like off-putting when that's all that I see on my feed. And I'm like, that's not Pilates. But I'm not going to be the Pilates police and be like, okay.
The Pilates police?
I'm like, okay, here we go again. It's like, just move your body. I think that's what's the most important thing is moving your body. Obviously, you want to be safe. But I think in correlation to desert movement, in the background where Alex and I came from, it was pretty clicky. And like there was like a stigma around it, which I extremely disliked, and it felt just really uncomfortable and crunchy. And so the root of creating desert movement between Alex and I was to create a space where everybody feels welcome, and it's not one specific body, it's for every single body if you choose to move.
Yeah.
So I think that is really important for us in our collaboration, or how we bring Pilates into the studio. But I think the stigma of Pilates, I think that just move your body. I think that you don't need to be going just because you want to fit this trendy fitness or this trendy workout. I think that it's created so much more outreach for people to have access to it, which is great. But I don't want people to do it just because it's a trendy thing. I think you should do it because you want to improve your stability, your flexibility, your mobility, your alignment, your mental health. I think that's really important too. So there's so much more that goes into it than just like, oh, I'm just going to take a pic on me sitting on the reformer and post on social.
Right.
With my grippy socks that match my outfit.
Yeah.
My grippy socks.
Yeah.
And also not avoiding it because you don't identify with the Pilates girl. And that's a thing. That's such a thing it's a thing in life, but in like these different wellness, fitness modalities, even like the yogi.
Yeah.
You know, it's like as soon as you start doing one of these different exercises or practices, you're like, oh yeah, now I'm a yogi.
Yeah.
Or now I'm a Pilates girly.
Yeah.
Or now I'm a whatever it is. And I think that humans in general, like, let's get rid of all of these identity attachments to this thing. And I mean, some of them are okay. You know what I mean? It's not like super detrimental.
Yeah.
But let's open ourselves up to just exploring and appreciating and enjoying all these different forms of movement in general.
Well, I'll even say, like, I've been going to the gym for years now, and I feel like I'm a pretty confident person in the gym, but there are some new studios locally that are like just almost too beautiful. And I'm
like, I don't want to touch anything in here. I don't want to break anything. It looks beautiful.
But literally, but kind of to what you guys are speaking about, I even feel a little like, I don't know if I fit in there, which is crazy.
Which is so yucky.
I know, right? Like, it's crazy to say because that's someone who actually works out regularly, goes to the gym, and confident in the way that I am and the way that I look. But even me, I'm like, there's something that's deferring me. Is that the right word? Deferring me from wanting to really be a part of this community.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't fit in. And so it's just crazy to think how that is actually a thing. And I know at Mel's gym, it's all the bottle service girls.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
go to a small gym here where it's like all the bottle service baddies. And I mean, honestly, I ain't mad at it because I'm like, that's my inspo. I'm like, okay, girl, I see you. But I see how people can go into that space and it could be very intimidating.
100%. And that's why when they come in the door, you need to talk to them right away. You need to greet them. It needs to be warm, welcoming. I think that is your first impression. Obviously, the class itself is very important and like making sure that transition is seamless. But like, there's so much more that goes into it. And like, this person maybe had to work up courage to sign up for class and come and attend the class and come in. So I feel like for me and what I instill in my staff and in the studio in general is you have to be welcome, you have to be warm, and just show up and lead with kindness. That's one of the most important things.
So you mentioned that you are kind of more of like the business mind and Alex is more of like the maybe workout curator. Is that
The creative, I would say.
Okay. So share a little bit more about what your guys' actual roles are in the studio.
Yeah. So I handle all of the not so glamorous stuff.
Kudos to you. Nice.
Yes, I'll be fixing the toilet. We've had actually one of our clients, her dad came in and fixed the toilet a couple years ago. So shout out Janina's dad. You're rock. That was outside of my wheelhouse. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But I handle all of the day-to-day. I essentially manage the studio. We have a manager underneath us who works part-time, and she helps manage our staff and just manage day-to-day operations. But I oversee like all of the accounting, all of the marketing, all of the sales, and then just hiring and onboarding new teachers and new staff. And then Alex, the creative genius that she is, she handles like all of our movement creative. And so she's essentially a part of the community aspect of that as well. So she helps plan community events. She helps plan staff events, and that's so important as well to get your staff together and make sure you have that great company culture.
Yes.
So she's definitely the creative behind the movement side, and then I just help pick up the slack everywhere else.
Okay, I'm going to call Alex out for a minute.
Yeah.
Why don't we ever see Alex on social media?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I always try to get her. She is a perfectionist.
Okay.
And so I feel like I also am a perfectionist as well, but you have to get to the point with social where you're just like, it's okay. You have to show up how you are. And like, I've shot a video like 3 times. I'm like, you know what?
This is it.
This is it. This is the version we're going with today. Like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be this picture perfect. Yeah. And I think that she is really hard on herself. And so I think she also doesn't want to be on camera if it's not perfect. But she's fun and energetic and bubbly. Like, it's always perfect every single time.
And she's just such a beautiful woman.
And I tell her, I'm like, dude, that you crush that every single time.
Yeah.
So I think it's also just like getting over a hurdle and things like that.
I feel that. I think we've all gone through that. And
Totally.
I feel like the only way to get better is just to rip the Band-Aid and find safety in that. But yeah, I'm like, where's Alex? Like, whatever
We want to see you, Alex.
Whenever
so
we
sorry,
see her
everybody.
on there, I'm like, she's here. She's alive.
I know, we did a video last week and it was very unhinged.
I loved
But it
it.
was so fun. So I'm like, this is us. I was like, this is our dynamic, and this is hopefully why people come to the studio.
Yes.
So.
That is always a special touch to things like that, because like it reminds me of the reason why I prefer to go to my local coffee shop instead of, I mean, first of all, I'd never go to Starbucks. I'm sorry. I'm not a Starbucks girl. But there's just this special touch when you feel close and connected and familiar with the personalities and the souls behind the creation. Like one of my favorite coffee shops downtown, every time I'm there and I run into the owner, I just love her, you know? And when you build a relationship with these people, then you're like, I see your essence in this space. And that's what makes people love it even more. That's what makes it even more special. So talking to anybody who's listening, like maybe you have been looking for a space where you can practice, exercise different forms of movement, but you've been wanting a space that feels more homey, that feels more comfortable, that just has more heart in it. Look for places like Desert Movement. Maybe you're not in Arizona, but maybe there is another local place that has a similar vibe. It's just different. It's like eating the homemade cookies opposed to like the Chips Ahoy.
Yes.
You know,
Oh my
there's just
gosh.
like a different feeling behind it.
I would love to take us into kind of now, because we've kind of talked about like the exciting glitz and glam of like leaving your job and opening up this beautiful studio, and all of us are kumbayaing together. And obviously, like I've been in your studio, your classes are full and thriving. You host a bunch of, I love your outdoor events. They look so fun. But I would love to anchor in like now and more like getting to know the human behind Sara, the business owner and entrepreneur. Like,
It's crazy to say.
yes, which is
I
so
feel like I'm an unsupervised child.
we all are. But I would love to know, like, what has been some of the, like, unexpected joys of this, and maybe some of the unexpected challenges that have come with this as well.
Plenty of those.
Because all we see, right? We look
Yeah.
at this, like, even us, like, they see this podcast. It's like, cool, but we're still moving through a lot ourselves with all of this. Even the
Right.
perfectionism. Like, the first handful of episodes, I was, like, tweaking out the entire time because I was just not used to this.
Yeah.
You know? And so
Okay.
let's start with the joys.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll start with great. I think unexpected joys is, I feel like very fulfilled when I'm in the studio and like it's buzzing and there's people talking and chatting and like people are asking questions and they're wanting to learn more. I feel very fulfilled when people are wanting more out of things. And I think that I find a lot of joy in being able to staff like almost 20 people and have that be, you know, most of it is supplemental income, but I do have a couple instructors where they are teachers full time and they teach a lot at the studio. And so I think to be able to see and acknowledge the growth from the beginning to that, because in the beginning it was just Alex and I teaching like 25 classes a week and it was insane. And so I think I find a lot of joy in seeing the growth. And seeing, I don't want to say the success because the success is important, but it's also important to see like where you met challenges and how you were able to get out of those holes essentially.
That's been an unexpected joy of myself as well. Like I thoroughly love like when I rent out a venue or I bring on a co-facilitator, like paying them.
Yes.
I'm like, I
Yes.
love how much my event or my business is giving to other people. So even though 20 employees is like, whoa, that's a
Scary.
lot.
Yeah.
It does feel so good to be able to contribute to their lives in some way, because you know they're probably enjoying their role so much, and then having that income, like that was an unexpected joy for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been an unexpected joy for you? I'm curious.
Out of what I do?
Just like from entrepreneurial space.
Well, I don't really have one that's like entrepreneurial connected, but an unexpected joy with what I do as a coach has been seeing how it impacts the children of the women that I like. When the kid now is like, now I have a happier, healthier mommy. Now that she went to your workshop and she started coaching with you and she went to your retreat, I'm like, I'm really glad that I helped the mom, but an unexpected joy has been like seeing how the children are impacted by how I helped their mom. Yeah.
I love that. Those unexpected joys. Like, you think the joy is going to be like the income coming in. But you're like, no, I actually love that just thing I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into some unexpected challenges.
I think whenever you are working with people, there's always a challenge in managing people and managing personalities.
Yes.
And I have found joy in this struggle of learning how to flex between different needs with certain people that I employ and even clients in the studio, but also learning how to communicate with different people in different ways. And I think that this person over here needs to be fed compliments the whole time, and she doesn't do great with, constructive feedback. And so I have to kind of like weave it in like a little sandwich. And then this other person's like, give me all of the feedback that I need to help improve my class and help improve my teaching. And so I'm like, perfect, bam, 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 great. But I also think in managing people, you have to set boundaries.
Yes.
And I have a very hard time setting boundaries. And that was one of my goals this year, was to be more efficient and to enforce boundaries. And that is also saying no sometimes. And that's very hard for me because I just want to be like, yes, perfect, I've got it, I'll handle it. Even if I'm at the studio until 10:30 at night, like I will handle it, which might not be a surprise for everybody, but if you own your own business, like you have to show up when your staff is not able to show up, and you have to do the things that you typically would pay somebody to do, especially in the beginning of owning your own business. Like, you're doing everything and you're going to get burnt out. I've felt that a couple of times, many a times. And I think learning how to be able to communicate that with people.
When it comes to communication, is that something like an innate skill you just picked up on? Like, okay, I'm noticing this. You got to seek out like better communication. Like, tell us about that.
Yeah. So for some reason in a professional environment, I feel like I have more tools in my toolbox to communicate. Mm-hmm. But in my personal life, I'm a very bad communicator. My poor boyfriend. So I'm like, can you just read my mind? That's perfect. Please just read my mind. So I think that like I want to do a good job. I don't want people to be confused. I don't want people to like not know what they're doing. I don't want it to fall back on me and be like, that person has no idea what they're doing. She has no idea how to like manage a business and manage people. And I'm very grateful to have worked in different industries where managing people was something that like I worked my way up to do. And learning how to like talk to people in different ways and assess their needs and hear what they need. That's the biggest part about communicating. And just listening to them and just being like, okay, no worries. And take it on the chin and just be like, no worries. I will reassess that or like pivot or reframe how I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I have such a soft spot for entrepreneurs.
Totally.
Everyone in my family was an entrepreneur. Everyone I've worked for, it's always been like a small business directly under the entrepreneur. And we are all entrepreneurs, and like we have to deal with a different level of mindfulness. Yeah. And the way that we operate and the way that we speak to people requires a certain type of person to be able to communicate like that. So everything you're talking about, I feel you entirely, especially the boundaries and wanting to like say yes to everything and just like, I'll stuff it and I'll deal with it because it's just going to cause less problems. Yeah. I like literally everything you're saying. I'm like, I totally hear you on all of that.
But then it also comes down to like I'm sure you learned a lot after hiring so many people, but the process of who you're choosing. Because you're like, okay, we need these spots to be filled. Now, after learning XYZ, what am I looking for? Because whoever you're bringing in has to align with the soul of your space, and you're like, okay, at this point, I will only bring in people to this space that have XYZ or function like XYZ. Do you have your like set standards now of like, this is what fully is aligned for the people that I bring in here, because this is what a representation of Desert Movement needs to look like?
I don't want to say it's a set standard or guideline for, because it's always changing just with what we need and the climate and like all the things. But I think obviously they need to be kind. We can't have anybody who's
bare minimum, bro.
They have to greet people at the door.
Yeah, you have to greet people at the door. I think that that's so important. And I think that, again, we've talked about it so many times, like in a fitness space, like there is this stigma around it. And so I'm like, you have to be kind. And I also want somebody who like wants to be in the space. I think that a lot of the time we'll get people, which is great, who apply but have never been to the studio and like never come into the studio. And I'm like, well, I want somebody who actually understands like what we're doing in this space, not to like create like a cult like vibe or anything, but like I want you to understand like the base premises. Like mindfulness is a huge portion of like like it's a pillar of the foundation of Desert Movement. And I want somebody who wants to be there. Yes. I don't want somebody who's just gonna be like, okay, I'm here to teach my class and then I'm out. Like quick, like unplug, done, boom, see you later.
Just like that employee mindset that we talked about earlier, like have some integrity and care with your role, even if you are simply employed there.
Yeah.
And I just want to speak to what you said, because anyone out there listening, there's so many people out there who do apply for jobs, or I get requests all the time, like, can I come co-facilitate with you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've never even been to one of my sessions.
You have no idea if you like it.
Why on earth would I invite you into my space? And I don't.
Right.
You've never even invested in like come and taken a class with me. No, like guys, it's called dating.
Yeah.
You have to
No,
you have to
literally.
date a little bit
Yeah.
to form a relationship, and then go in for your ask.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
please, everyone, keep that in mind.
Yes, and I think what's been a good process for me is if somebody does apply, I go through and review like their certifications and their availability. I think those are kind of like baseline things. Also, you have to be kind. You have to have certifications that align with what we have and what we offer in the studio, and your availability has to work with what we need or what we are going to be offering at the studio. But then I go in on the next step when I invite them in and I have that first interaction. It's like, okay, I'm going to invite you. Here's a handful of complimentary classes. If they don't show, if they late cancel, if they're late, if they're disheveled, I'm like, okay, I give everybody a pat. Like you get a couple passes, but like it's just things that I'm taking note of. And it's like, okay, if they're consistently late or they no-show or they late cancel, I'm probably not going to hire them, or I'm probably not going to proceed with onboarding or like getting to know them a little bit better.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sitting back and you're observing
Yes.
the way this person operates just in their life.
Yes.
Just like the way she was observing you, which is something that's
Yes.
really important, because it's like you don't even realize that people are watching you. Because Casey said that when you did open up your new space, that she wasn't surprised. So just by observing how you function in life, you already set an energetic standard. So I'm sure she wasn't the only person that was observing you in that way. And so when you did open your new space, I'm sure people were so excited to come and check out your creation. Pay attention to that, y'all, because that is something like your energetic imprint, it is felt everywhere you go. And if you do want to go and create your own thing eventually, you set that energetic imprint somewhere else. If it's a shitty one and you want to go and launch your own thing, the chances of people wanting to go and check it out are going to be slim, opposed to if they were like, she used to bake at this thing over here, now she's baking her own cakes, now I want to go try her cakes, you know? So that's an important point for people to pay attention to.
It really is. I think we don't realize how much we really are being watched, which is like creepy to even think about. But even on social media too, like how are you showing up? How are you just operating in your life? Like this is a key right here, people.
Or not even just watched, but like felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like we don't even have to have a deep conversation, but I just feel your vibe, you know? Like I felt it as soon as we walked in.
for
You
the
were so
girls.
warm and like I didn't feel nervous or like on edge. I felt totally accepted and comfortable. Like if I look ridiculous doing this, it's going to be fine. Sarah's going to come and fix me.
Yes, I've got you. I've got you. And that's honestly, that is why. That is
Yeah.
the why behind it. I want everybody to feel welcome. I want you to feel like you're just hanging with the gals.
Well, Sarah, what is like next for Desert Movement? You're coming up on your 4-year anniversary. This is such a big deal. I really
crazy.
hope that you just bask in all of the yumminess every anniversary that comes around, and just like in day-to-day life as well, because what you've done and what you've built is just, you and Alex,
you.
is truly amazing. So like, what do you guys see in the future? Because you recently just expanded into the Reformer. You occupied a whole brand new space. Like, what's up and coming for Desert Movement? Are you guys just kind of chilling and like cozying into your new Reformer space?
I think we're definitely cozying into the new space. I think big picture, I love the training process. I love diving into like the technical components of Pilates, and I love working with new teachers and training. So I think that would be the next progression. I don't know what that timing looks like. Alex, every time we meet, she's like, okay, well, what are we focusing on this year? I'm like, we're just living. We're living, we're surviving, and we're thriving.
Stabilization
We're
is
stabilizing.
important. Yes.
Exactly. And so I'd love to launch our teacher training program, because again, that is like one of the parts of the business that I love so much, is just training and like being able to help mold new Pilates teachers. I think that that's so great. I'd love to eventually bring retreats back. I feel like that was such a great fun way just to get to know people in our community on a deeper level. I feel like that was so great. I think we would tweak things a little bit and just reformat it, but I think that that's what you do. You go through all of these edits and these rough drafts and you fine tune and figure out, okay, what is what we want to present next.
I forgot that you guys brought in retreats. That was really unique. Camp DM, right?
Yep.
So cute.
She'll be back soon.
Yes, so beautifully branded, of course. Like I can picture all of it now.
Yeah.
That is so exciting. I feel like the teacher trainer is naturally the evolution of a lot of people who love teaching. Like I'm obsessed with teaching, so now I teach other practitioners, and it's like this urge to teach and develop people.
Yes. And I love to just see the progression. I love to see the journey that people go on. And that goes for like clients in the studio. Just we've been working on our teasers in class, and so I'm like, you guys are looking great. I love it when things just fall into place.
I did notice when we were there for our class at the end, when we were all wrapped up and we were getting ready to head out, you had a one-on-one. And as much as I was trying not to eavesdrop, I still have ears, you know? So I was like going in there, getting our stuff, and I could hear a little bit about she was just sharing with you just where she's at. And I loved that a woman in whatever, you know, space that she's in her journey was able to come in and have this one-on-one time with you. She's probably in the process of rebuilding a relationship with her body and her strength and movement and things like that. And you were able to sit there with her one-on-one, just listening to her. So do you offer those one-on-ones regularly? Okay, because I think that I've actually never heard of that for a movement instructor like you. I usually hear that for like regular personal trainers, but that was the first time I've ever seen anything like that in a studio like yours. And it just felt so safe. Like I could tell that she felt really safe. And I think that people need to know that that is a resource that they have, that if they don't feel fully comfortable to go into the space quite yet and they are reestablishing a relationship with their body, that they can have some one-on-one time with you.
Totally. It's so cheesy to say, but movement is medicine. And I think that being able to pause and just build that relationship during our private sessions, and then they get a completely tailored class to them, like a tailored program. So whether it's working on just stability in your core or maybe strengthening your leg muscles, like honestly, whatever it is. Sometimes I've had clients who just want to gab for 45 minutes. And I'm like, okay, well, let's do a little bit of movement. Let's work it in. Yes. But I feel like that is also such a rewarding part of being in the fitness space, and especially the Pilates space, because you do get to have that one-on-one time with clients. Obviously that's applied to other fitnesses as well, but it's really special.
Yeah. I've never seen it in that space before. So I was like, wow, like I could tell this lady, I felt her energy, like she really needed it, you know? So that was beautiful. Do you have any closing remarks, Casey?
Yeah, I just want to ask you one final question. For the person out there who maybe is hesitant about joining any studio. Maybe they have like gym trauma, or just like they're feeling a little insecure about starting this back up, but they're feeling it in their body. Like I feeling called to start doing something again. Like what message do you share for those people out there?
Just get on your mat. Get on your mat. We'll take care of the rest. Showing up is the hardest part.
I love that. Sara, why don't you go ahead and share where people can find you? Where is Desert Movement? Any upcoming events you have going on? Please.
Oh, wait, don't you have a gift for our audience?
Yes,
so
I
speaking
do.
of showing up on the mat, she's making it very accessible for you to be able to show up on the mat. Will you please share with them?
Yes, of course. So for all of your listeners, I have a special promo code, Humanhood, all caps, one word, and that gives you a free mat class and a free reformer class. You can book those online. Obviously, if you have any issues, you just slide into our DM and I'll help you. It's usually me behind the phone. But you were in kind of like Midtown Phoenix, I would say between Midtown and Biltmore. We're off of 16th Street in Campbell, and you can find us on desertmovement.com, socials, desert_MVMT. And yeah, just excited to move with you.
Thank you so much for
I have something else to plug.
Yes.
Okay, our 4th anniversary. It's October 4th. It's Saturday. Sorry, I forgot about that. I don't know. Saturday, October 4th, we're having our anniversary movement market. So we do 2 really big movement markets a year, and this is one of our larger ones. It's our 4th anniversary. And so we have tattoos, piercings, wellness, all sorts of things. We'll have raffles, giveaways, and even if you just want to come move with us that day, you're welcome to come move with us, or just come hang.
What time?
From like 9 to 12.
Ooh.
Do we need a tattoo?
No. Not yet. That was cute though.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. Thank you again, Sarah, for joining us. Use the code HUMANHOOD over at Desert Movement to claim your free reformer or mat class. And we will catch you next time. Bye.